Let's do this. Good morning, and welcome to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is the show where we talk about everything.
What the hell?
Well, almost. From today's news, culture, entertainment, real life, real people, and the stories everybody's talking about. And no, we don't do it in some tiny glass bubble. We do it the only way we know how. Real and completely unleashed.
Fire the hole, fire the hole, fire the hole.
So lean in and let's go right now.
Give me a hell yeah. What?
Good morning. It is 6:30 in the morning. My name is Daryl Arnold. You've tuned into the Unleashed, Uninhibited, Unapologetic, Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. Today, my friends, is Monday, August 24th, and the year is 2026. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. I know I did. It was a big birthday weekend for me. Thanks for everyone reaching out. Thanks for everyone showing up, reaching out. Emails, text messages, phone calls, social media, you name it. I appreciate it. Today, on August 24th, the Trump administration and Scott Bessent are set to unveil a major D-Day, they're calling it, economic D-Day. Major new sanctions today, offensive, aimed at cutting Iran off from all of their remaining financial threatening retaliation and markets. It's happening today, you guys, and we're going to be watching it closely and see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know this. You can't do anything without money. They're also going to be cutting off the financial lifelines, anybody else involved. Iran is threatening retaliation, of course, if this happens. And we're watching closely on the Strait of Hormuz. That is big news today on this Monday morning, August 24th. Number 2, 2026 midterms. The Republicans, the conservatives, they're all fighting to hold Congress. Republicans are moving deeper into the midterm elections right now, along with the DSA and the Democrat Party, with control of Congress. And therefore, much of Trump's remaining legislative agenda, ladies and gentlemen, is at stake. Economic concerns, particularly affordability, are not and are, in some cases, becoming the number one major vulnerable situations that the Republicans are going to have to address this, okay? They just are. A judge struck down Trump's 75-country visa freeze. A federal judge has vacated the Trump administration's suspension of immigrant visa processing involving nationals from 75 countries. This immigration versus judicial authority is a big discussion in this country, and it has been for quite a while. Okay, it just has. All these people that were aligned with John Thune leader raised up to like $500 million for this guy to not get the Save America Act done. Makes you want to throw up a little bit in your mouth. It does. And then over the weekend, big story. We're going to get into this one here in a little while. But U.S.-Canada trade war escalates as the Trump administration went ahead and imposed the 50% tariffs on roughly $20 billion of Canadian goods. Now, Canada came on and made their point. They were nasty. They're nasty people, Democrats. They're preparing, of course, they're preparing retaliatory measures. The political question is whether the tariffs ultimately help American industry or raise costs enough to hurt the Conservative Party in November. Some questions. What will you decide to do? Well, you better not decide to vote for the Democrat Socialists of America if you want this country at all. Okay? You don't have to be a Republican, but you have to be a planet, a country, a city, a state saver, SAVER. We got to save this country together. That's some of the top stories we will go over today on August 24th. Again, my name is Daryl Arnold. Thank you so much to Thomas Kane, the Dirt Deacons, everyone at Cypress Point Resort, Cameron's Garage, the Tavern, and then all you great folks that came out this weekend. Fantastic. And again, thank you very, very much. As I roll over into another 365 days around the world, hopefully. All right. So, if you don't know what's going on in the country, that's okay if you don't keep up with this garbage every day, because it is most of the time garbage. But we all need to pay attention more than we ever have. Okay, we just do. We have people like Hassan, the communist cheerleader, outright mocking Charlie Kirk, mocking Democrats, Republicans, conservatives. This is not a Democrat party. It's beyond sickening, is what it is. It's a gamer, a socialist communist wannabe, TikTok, tallywalk, idiot. Okay, idiot. It's beyond sickening that people follow this. The quote unofficial Democrat Party spokesman, that's it, Hassan Parker, it's really Hassan Piker, but he is definitely a Parker, in my opinion. He mocked, of course, the Charlie Kirk assassination. This is, like I said, beyond sick. And the country we live in now, they're putting up with this, or they're either involved in it or they want to throw up like me. But no matter what you choose is going on now. Sadly. That, my friends, is what you call sick, evil, nasty, and pathetic. Pathetic. My text line 601-918-8409. Again, that's 601-918-8409. It is brought to you in part by Mississippi Coding Academies. Mississippi Coding Academies.org. Yeah, and the reason I give out the text line right now is because I'm already getting messages. When you consider that racist, violent, hateful, anti-American rhetoric that not Hakeem, but him too, but Hassan Piker spews out of his mouth. This is what you get, ladies and gentlemen. It is what you get. Sadly. I don't like to get up and have to talk about this, people, but we have to get you going. We have to let you know what's going on in this country and how the fact that these kind of people are pushing their rhetoric on all of our kids and everyone for that matter, not just kids. Even grown people fall for a quote 187 cult, you know? It's funny that it's okay for them to act like this, and the media doesn't care, the mainstream media. They get to act any way they want to, and the mainstream media actually doesn't give a damn. He's evil, guys, ladies. Sickening, frightening, and people look up to this monster, young people. And that's where we are with this guy. That's where we are. He is clearly hatred towards the American people, in my opinion. That's what he is. He appropriately, on that particular clip that I played, wore the the Nazi uniform with the markings on it. Weirdo, man. I'm telling you, he's a jerk. He's dangerous. He's a demagogue who supports communism but has made millions being a capitalist. Well, I'll be darned. These people hate capitalists, but they're making all their money from capitalism. They're making all their money from capitalism. Foolish. Extremely foolish. That's the world we live in now. A lot of foolish factors that are tied into that. A lot of foolish factors that are definitely tied into that. If you have something to say, please chat, please call, please text. We'll get this thing busted wide open this morning on Monday. That's right, Monday, August 24th. Again, my name is Daryl Arnold. You've tuned into the Unleashed, Uninhibited, Unapologetic Media and Talk Show. Also, we are available on all the podcast platforms when the show is over. It is uploaded to your favorite and all of them. iHeart Radio, that platform, as well as Apple, Spotify, Podbean, so many more, ladies and gentlemen. Google, Amazon, Pandora. And then if you want to skip all that trying to find the platform you like, you can go to DarrellArnold.us, DARRELL, DarrellArnold.us. I cannot believe that it is rolling up on football season. We're rolling into September, Labor Day weekend, rolling into college football, and of course, NFL. College kicks off real soon. High school's already here. And then NFL is right along the same time as college football. And then we roll right on into Halloween. Cypress Point Resort doing the Trunk or Treat Friday, October 30th at 6:30 p.m., 874 Holly Bush Road, Brandon, Mississippi. Email Reagan.cypresspointms@gmail.com. Reagan.cypresspointms@gmail.com. to be involved in the trunk or treat. So we roll through a little bit of Hassan Pocker's nastiness. People say the controversial. I mean, of course he's controversial, but he's also an idiot. Okay. He's also an attention grabber. There's a lot of that going around. There's a whole lot of that going around. When people know just enough to talk and run their mouth. Some people will say that about me. Some people will say that about anybody that opens their mouth and dares to talk about any of this. And that's okay. That's why it is an opinion based show. But my opinion counts to me. And if one person listens, I'm good. If 1 million people listen, I'm good. That's the way I started this show. It's the way I started this show. Now, at the opening of the show, one of the main headlines was Secretary Bassett, and we're starting D-Day today. The economic D-Day for Iran starts today, Monday, August 24th, 2026. Also, more news on Secretary Scott Bassett. He filed new IRS forms and rules that stop illegal aliens from collecting refund tax credits meant for America. No more free money for people who aren't even supposed to be here. American taxpayers first, period. Yes, agree. Undocumented immigrants inject hundreds of billions of dollars into the U.S. economy annually through tax contributions. These are people disagreeing. But I mean, I'm not saying that, but they need to be documented. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But that's what's going on. You can either like it, agree with it, or not. That's what's going on. Deb sent me a text at 601-918-8409. What I don't get is how are the illegals even paying taxes or receiving W-2s or whatever for working if they're not legal? Yeah. Whose fault is that here? Whose fault? Well, I would assume that is the IRS's fault for not doing their job correctly. That's just my opinion. I would assume that. I would assume that. But I also would assume that most of those people have their employers dealing with them under the table. That's been going on for 100 years. Maybe still going on at all-time record high. I don't know. But I know it will not be an all-time record low. I do know that. Good morning to Angie. Good morning to Mel. Good morning, Stephen. SRS. Good morning, everybody else listening on YouTube, watching rather. And of course, 104.3 FM locally, Hines, Rankin, Madison County, and Mississippi. But yeah, no more free money for these people. Okay. They get refunds, but they don't pay anything in. I wish I knew how to do that. Or not really, but must be nice. Must be real nice. we as a country also, and actually the whole world, not just the country, but the whole entire world, we have this sickness on TikTok mainly, but all of them really, regarding these trials, these people killing their own kids, people taking up for these kind of people. We're at an all-time crazy time in this generation that is unexplainable sometimes, because the media slams it down your throat, my throat, everybody's throat every single day. This trial, that trial. There's so many, quote, trials going on right now. So many wannabe investigators on TikTok and everywhere else. It's very addictive, people. Everybody is addicted to the negative, but that really has always kind of been that way. That's not anything new. But I always will support somebody if they're just telling the truth on any platform. I get it. I try to do the same thing. But there are so many right now things that are just nasty evil, that some people completely take the side of the evil. And that goes for politics, but that also goes for all the other happenings around the country. We're at a part where everyone should drop to their knees and start praying for each other and for theirself, their families, their kids, grandkids, all of it. We can't fix it without Jesus. You can't fix all of these crazy, wild things that are happening around the country without Jesus. Now, that, of course, is my opinion. And guess what? That is my opinion. That is my opinion. We're going to talk about Florida here. Because Ron DeSantis doesn't take BS in his state. Okay? He just doesn't. We're going to talk about a new requirement this fall, which is basically now almost, that Ron DeSantis signed into effect about the evils of communism. Love it. Absolutely love it. Ron DeSantis does not play around. He tries to do things right in his state, and he does a damn good job at it. Okay? He really does. We'll be right back.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
Support for these programs comes from Electrical Solutions and Services in Pearl, Mississippi, providing licensed electrical contracting services throughout Mississippi for commercial, industrial, and residential projects. Also installations, system upgrades, troubleshooting, and emergency electrical repairs. As certified installers for Tesla, charging systems, and a certified dealer for Generac backup power solutions, their team delivers safe, code-compliant workmanship with a commitment to precision and integrity. They are veteran-owned. Their phone number is 769-572-2222. 7597.
Power 104.3 FM.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of. But you have heard of me.
The Pirate.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
All right, welcome back. Monday, August 24th, 2026. Early in the morning, 7 o'clock hour. We're in the Central Time Zone. Whatever happened to the damn daylight savings time thing they were passed? I don't know. Oh, yes, I know. The senators are still on vacation, of course. Paid vacation. They also didn't pass the Save America Act. Man, please, y'all remember that when it comes around for them to get voted out. O-U-T. Remember their names. Remember what they did. That's the only way we can fight back as American people in the country. Remember. Write it down if you have to. Write down John Thune and underline that one. And where in the hell? And I'm being serious. This video is going around the interweb, the internet. But where's Mitch? Where's Mitch McConnell? Saw some videos over the weekend where back in June, they're saying that this man may have passed literally inside of the United States Congress or House or Senate. I'm not saying that happened, but where is he? Where is he? But I told y'all we would talk about Ron DeSantis coming out of the break. Florida students are being required this fall to learn about the evils of communism as a law was signed in by Governor Ron DeSantis starting in 6th grade now. This is awesome. They will touch on the dangers of the Soviet Union and the Chinese Communist Party, North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela. The capture of Maduro has even been added. Awesome. DeSantis, the DSA, may try to make Castro out to be a hero, but in Florida, our students are going to know better. I like it, y'all. I like it. I like it a lot.
The new curriculum will teach middle and high school students about the consequences of communist governments. Dana Marie McNichol is live from Naples, Florida with more. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Dana. Well, I'm here at Aubrey Rogers High School where teachers tell me that they have always taught communism, but for the first time, they are required by law to teach a very specific curriculum. Now, the new standards spell out how teachers are expected to cover it. Starting in 6th grade each year, they will touch on different topics: the dangers of the Soviet Union, the Chinese Communist Revolution, North Korea, and the regimes of Cuba and Venezuela.
Awesome. Awesome. I think everyone should probably do that. Pay attention. Absolutely brilliant, in my opinion. Cannot love this more. God bless America. That's a text message from Greg. I agree with Greg this morning. Absolutely. And then Justin texted and said, hey, every school in America should do this. Yeah, that's right. That is right. Do it nationwide. Do it nationwide. I know that some of the West Coast foolishness states would not go along with it, but the Department of Education in general is ruined. In general. Not in every state, not in every city. But, you know. So crazy. So insane. Someone said, hey, look, I'm not going to say their name, but I honestly don't have any idea why this man is not a shoo-in for president in 2028. I haven't heard that he's running. Okay, but I do know that Ron DeSantis will go 10 times harder on the leftists than Trump is doing right now. Just in a different kind of way. Just in a different kind of way. I think it's a great lesson for kids, you guys. Really, I do. Pamela said, as a once educator who previously worked in different schools, I applaud this governor. Most of the kids today have no idea what it's like to live under communism or socialism. They don't even realize how fortunate they are to live in the country that we live in, the United States. Well, I do agree with that too. Like I said, in my opinion, all American students need to learn about this. They also should have their state history like we used to have in Mississippi. We had Mississippi history. They don't do that anymore. They don't do that anymore. Americanism versus communism. Americanism versus communism was talked about a lot back in the old days. Well, I'm not real sure why it ever ceased, but it was a terrible idea with ridiculous consequences when they stopped teaching that in government classes and history classes, which they don't have government classes anymore. Haven't in a very long time. And it's obviously what in the hell's wrong part of it. That's definitely part of what's wrong. Modern progressivism, though, like progressives today, it's beyond crazy. Like I said, they lost the economic war, so they turned to culture war. That's what they did. And that's where we are now, today, August 24, 2026. And they apparently don't talk to any people that were raised up and grew up in an Islamic situation. They must not ever talk.
Things like marital rape don't exist within the confines of Islam. Things like consent don't exist within the confines of Islam, let alone what the kind of understanding we have of it now. So you've got a huge problem in terms of, a massive culture clash and a massive clash of values altogether in terms of how they view women. But the issue is it goes back to indoctrination. So you've got, let's say, young men who have, absolutely no
regard to a woman's body.
For a woman's body or autonomy or agency.
Yeah, they have no regards to women, y'all. It's true. This woman's testimony is concerning. Of course it is. It's very concerning, along with all of them. But she is 1,000% right. Our laws and belief system do not mesh. It's that simple. It is that simple. But the left said, hey, these are great. This is good. Y'all come on. Don't worry about a freaking passport. Come on over. Michigan, are you listening? North Dallas, Texas, are you listening? I just don't understand why people can't see this, hear this, and know this. But people like her need to keep speaking up and educating the world. People need to hear what everyone has to say regarding that. I'm sure it's extremely hard to speak about all this. I'm pretty sure that it's incredibly brave. But keep speaking and don't let them silence you. Don't. Do not let them silence you. Because the hard truth needs to be talked about, period.
Custodians of tolerance, the people who really want to push the agenda that we mustn't be racist, we mustn't be xenophobic, we mustn't criticize different cultures or religions, are so often middle-class white women. And I think to myself, if they understood some of the things you've been saying, they wouldn't do this. Do you think that they have got Islam wrong?
They've definitely got Islam wrong, because if they knew the true Islam, just the way that you and I are talking about things that are extremely problematic within it, then they wouldn't be, so like readily holding up placards and, calling for Islamophobia to be made into legislation of its own right and things like that. So once you peel back the layers of, from the outset, seeing the bigotry of low expectations, if you will, of, this is their culture, or their values are different, or this is just Eastern culture in itself, then you really, can see how women and girls from Muslim households, like I was born in one myself, I kind of understand there's a lot of coercion and, emotional manipulation behind the scenes, whether it's from your elders or from the teachers in the mosque, or peer pressure from other Muslims, or the...
Yeah. Crazy, you guys. It's crazy that all these people, these left-wing lunatics, mainly white women, liberals, DSA liberal-tards, libtards, or celebitards, those poor people, bring them on over. They don't understand, though, that it's a whole different deal, you guys. Okay? It's just, they're not understanding. They're not understanding the capabilities, but mainly they're not understanding the incapable areas to assimilate in this country and understand the way it works. Okay? It's just the truth. It's not an insult. It is the truth. It is the truth. Speaking of insults, now the Gen Z, the little brats, the far left, though, they're not the cool Gen Zs that I hang out with. But the little brats over on the left, their new insult is polyester. God, these people are so foolish. Move over cringe and move over basic. Gen Z has found a new way to describe something that they think is, quote, cheap, fake, or, quote, trying too hard. Polyester. Yes, y'all, polyester, the synthetic fabric that has been hanging around in closets for decades, has suddenly become a TikTok wannabe internet insult. Give me a break, y'all. Y'all just don't have any originality, I guess. The trend appears to have grown out of, quote, TikTok's video editing community. Users begin mocking flashy videos, polyester edits, comparing them to something cheaply made or mass produced. But it didn't just stop with the videos. Now Gen Z is using polyester to describe practically anything viewed as, quote, low quality, artificial, generic, overly manufactured. Psychologically Today really had to do a story on this. This is the sad world we live in. This is a sad world. A social media influencer showing off what looks like a completely manufactured lifestyle. Polyester. A product that looks expensive online but arrives cheap. Polyester. Oh my God. But anyway, and there may be something even bigger behind the joke. The popularity of polyester fits into a growing online backlash against content that feels, quote, staged. With AI generated material, influence culture, and highly polished social media persons and personas everywhere, authenticity, is becoming kind of a status symbol. Yeah, well, we don't need to use a word polyester. If it looks fake or AI, we just say the damn thing looks fake. Okay? It looks manufactured. And just like that, one of America's most familiar fabrics, God bless, has become one of the new internet insults. I have a question. And you know, the older generation before me probably had the same kind of question. But we're going to ask this question to the listeners out there. Have we officially reached the point where you need a dictionary to understand Gen Z? Maybe. Oh, maybe. A little something to put a smile on your face this morning, but you know, who knows? Who freaking knows? Look, we made up all kind of names when I was growing up. You know, some of them stuck around, some of them didn't. We went through the Valley Girl movies, the Fast Times at Ridgemont Highs, the Totally Awesome, What's Up, Dude? We went through all that. I get it. But polyester one is kind of dumb. But you know, whatever. Whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. And what it is 7:14 in the morning. My name is Daryl Arnold. You've tuned into the Unleash Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold, y'all, on a Monday. And yes, we'll call it a Monday Fun Day. And we'll call it a lot of other stuff and talk about a lot of other stuff in just a minute.
Don't forget to check out Cypress Point Resort. Memories are made at Cypress Point. Close to home, yet it feels miles away. At Cypress Point, you can truly get away from it all. You can step back to a simpler time, yet enjoy all the amenities of today. Cameron's Garage is a sports bar and music venue. There's a lunch buffet every day inside Cypress Point. They also have a steakhouse and the Tavern. The Tavern is a quaint little place with live music Wednesday through Saturday. And of course, you've got the Safari Park and Petting Zoo. Don't forget about all the event halls, including the Wedding Chapel and so much more. That's Cypress Point Resort, located at 874 Hollybush Road, Brandon, Mississippi. Contact them at 601-829-1101 or at cypresspointms.com.
If you or a loved one need reliable medical equipment, trust a name Mississippi has depended on for over 20 years. Mobility Medical, located right in Flowood, is your local family-owned source for mobility and home healthcare solutions. From power wheelchairs and scooters to lift chairs that help you relax in comfort, they've got everything you need to stay independent and live better every day. Need help at home? Mobility Medical offers hospital beds, tables, and essential supplies, and more. What sets them apart? It's their personalized service. Their experienced team works one-on-one with you to find the right equipment. Serving all of Mississippi and beyond with in-store support and delivery options available. Mobility Medical, helping you move better, live better, and stay independent. Visit them today in Flowood or call to learn more.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
Welcome back. It is Monday, August 24th. My name is Daryl Arnold. Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. And unapologetic on this Monday. Thank y'all so much. The text line 601-918-8409, 601-918-8409. This segment's brought to you by Cypress Point Resort, Brandon, Mississippi, 874 Holly Bush Road. And, of course, CypressPointMS.com or at CypressPointMS on Facebook. What a great weekend it was out there. If you weren't there, be there next time. Be there next time. Could AI, artificial intelligence, end up defining Donald Trump's economic legacy? That was a question Mark Halperin asked over the weekend. He breaks down where the AI race stands. What's at stake for the United States on this? Trump's handling of technology could actually shape how his presidency would be remembered. You know, I tend to agree with this. I really do. Because this conversation is at every kitchen table. It really is. Today, tomorrow, and everywhere.
For the big ticket items on the Trump agenda. And it starts not just for the midterms, but for legacy with the economy. Okay? Donald Trump's record on the economy is mixed. The record on the economy is mixed. He could go down in history as the person who launched a generation or generations of American economic supremacy because of how he's treated AI. That hangs in the balance. But the initial idea of a very laissez-faire attitude towards AI, that's changed a little bit. Public opinion has, and the nature of the development of these models has led the administration to move towards thinking about more regulation. Communities are demanding more regulation on the data centers. This could end up being handled perfectly. And I think if it is, it'll be a big part of his legacy. A president who presided over the birth of what could turn out to be the most historic technological innovation in human history, if he navigates between regulation and deregulation, between safety and economic growth, that'll be an extraordinary legacy.
Bless her heart, this liberal.
Yeah, if it goes down that way. If it goes down that way, it literally could go either way. We don't know. And I'm sure I might never know. I don't know that it will completely change in my lifetime, but it is changing fast, you guys. It is very, very fast. AI is taking over more in the last year than you can even wrap your mind around. I know I can't wrap my mind around it because it's happening now, quick, real quick. Just as we're talking, the Iranian currency has hit a massive new low, all-time low. $1 equals 2 million Iranian dollars. Wow. Wow. $1 is 2 million. Yikes. And Iran thinks they're going to withstand the United States economic assault launched today by Scott Bessent. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. The Strait of Hormuz crossing surged, went up by 400%. That's a good thing. Things are going Trump's way right now. Okay, right now, today. Could it change? Of course. But I'm still trying to wrap my head around one American dollar bill equals 2 million Iranian bucks. Wow. How about them apples? That is crazy. That's breaking this morning. That's breaking this morning. We do have a text message on our text line at 601-918-8409. A couple of them, actually. We're going to get back to David's. Good morning, David. He said, all this talk about AI, it makes me remember the movie 2001, A Space Odyssey. Remember the Hull 2000 that still kind of sits in the back of the memory? Yeah, I do, actually. What a really good outcome with that 2000. Yeah, that was a classic movie. It's so crazy that movies have so much to do with the future, because I can remember when artificial intelligence came out and they were talking about AI, of course, years ago. Absolutely years ago. So, yes, movies, Hollywood has always pushed things that were probably going to come true, some of them. Now, over the last 5 to 10 years, though, Hollywood has lost their minds. So they're not so, quote, important anymore, only in their minds, not in everyone else's minds. Because most of them are idiots now. This is just what's going on. It's exactly what's going on. And over the weekend, like I said, Canada is going to economic war with us, the United States of America. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't. But I do know this. It's happening. Canada will match Washington's new tariffs dollar for dollar starting on September 8th, because ours start now. Ours start now. Let's peep in and listen to what the Canadian president has to say here.
Washington's new tariffs, dollar for dollar, in order to protect Canadian workers, farmers, families, and businesses. Our response will be concentrated in sectors such as steel, dairy, appliances, agricultural equipment, pulp and paper, and electronics. We'll also include products that are currently subject to unjustified Section 232 and 338 tariffs. Canada will match Washington's new tariffs dollar for dollar.
Well, there you heard it. But whatever, Canada needs us more than we need them. Period. Really. Trump is strengthening our relationships with our global neighbors, y'all, and allies every single day. So do what you got to do, Canada. Fun fact, Canada needs America for trade, not America needs Canada. Okay? Keep that in mind. That's a little fun fact for you Canadians. And I love the Canadians, but I don't love their far left progressive politicians. Kyle sent me a text. He said Canada will be completely destroyed in the next 2 years if they follow along with this. Canada does realize, though, that they could never go toe-to-toe with the United States economically. Why do all these people try to put out all this mess when they have no leverage in Canada? None. Zero. And again, I love Canada. Just don't like the politicians. And their free health care system never worked. 2-3 years to get a damn appointment to go to the doctor. To go to the doctor. That's the truth. That is the absolute 100% truth. There's a big argument about that right now in my text messages and and online. But look, it is what it is. That's what Canada said starting on September 6th they're going to do. As America does it now, 50% tariffs, that's happening now. Okay? It's just happening. It is. And since the Trump administration is all in, like Mark Halperin said earlier, Trump is either going to go down as the greatest or we'll see. Or we will see. We will see. Anna Paulina Luna, you love her. I do. She confirms what a federal grand jury is being launched against the CCP linked socialist and Marxist and mega donor. This guy is a mega donor, way above George, way above all of them. Neville Roy Singham, who's funneled nearly 1 billion with a B dollars into the America Democrat, Socialist, and all that crap. Singham is a devout Marxist. It's not organic in any shape or form. Just channeling that money, y'all. Channeling that money. Money talks, okay? In the entire world. Anywhere. Money talks. That's not anything new. That's been going on for, I don't know, since the beginning of time. Of course, since the beginning of time. I was watching one of these Sunday morning shows, try to get caught up for the week here with Anna Paulina Luna discussing about what we're just talking about. Okay. About that's a big, huge number, y'all. Big.
Announced that they have a full-fledged investigation and are convening a grand jury on an individual named Neville Roy Singham, who is a tycoon that is currently living in China that's been funneling over $780 million, Jason, that's a big number, into various political organizations, grassroots organizations that are ultimately working hand in hand with the Democrat Socialists. And I'd like to remind the viewers that Neville Singham is a devout and proclaimed Marxist and socialist. And so this is not organic in any way, shape, or form. But what's crazy and alarming, and you would probably agree, being that you were a House member, is that one of the main platforms for the DSA is indeed not just to literally redistribute wealth, but also they want to abolish the Senate. So if anyone thinks that this woman is a moderate and that she's somehow distancing herself from the DSA platform, understand that the DSA platform works hand in hand with the Communist Chinese Party.
Yeah. That's the way they do it, though. That's the way this guy, Neville Roy Singham, has been doing it. One of the largest ever, if not the largest ever, donor, just giving away money to all these insane organizations, these NGOs, and of course, these candidates and their staff, paying for all those parades, those marches, those riots, all of it. That's what's happening. It's what's happening. It's what's been happening. You know, we talked about this a little bit on Friday, but the California lawmakers just said that they want to use the tax packs. No, they want to use the TAX, the taxpayer dollars, to fund enclosures for the homeless. I think they've already built like 84, 87 of those to be able to, quote, have sex in those for the homeless people and You can't make any of this up. And when it comes to predators, and when it comes to human trafficking, and when it comes to child trafficking, which is at an all-time high in this country, wouldn't you think that would make it easier for traffickers? Of course it would. Who's talking about that, though? You don't hear the media talk about that. You're saying, oh, they're building them nice little huts so they can deal fentanyl, not get in trouble, so they can have sex, not get in trouble. And then what about the traffickers? They won't get in trouble either. They just pretend like they're a homeless person for 30 minutes to an hour and grab a van full of people, a lot of them being underage girls, runaways. Come on, y'all. These are things that needs to be talked about. Nobody's talking about it yet. I tend to make that change. Nobody's talking about it. Everyone's talking about it and very concerned, as they should be. They really should be, about human trafficking and child trafficking and all that. They should be. But California just pulled a sheet over everybody's face and said, hey, we're just going to use the taxpayer dollars to build huts, H-U-T-S. They're not homes. Huts, enclosures for the homeless to walk in and do their drugs, their heroin and fentanyl, and masturbation and sex. I mean, that's exactly what they said. I didn't say it. I'm not making it up. They said it. It's lawmakers doing this. But yet they're always so concerned about trafficking when they get on a microphone. Lies, lies, lies. Lies, lies, lies. The celebritards have always been some of the very worst traffickers, the very worst predators. So I just know what I'm talking about. That's all I'm going to say. I do. I do. And if you're listening in that state or any city, clean it up, ladies and gentlemen. Don't make it easier for the predators. Always make it harder for your children, your grandchildren, and everybody else. Make it harder, not easier. Just wow, right? Yeah. Just wow. Insanity. Insanity.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Power 104.3 FM.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of. But you have heard of me.
The Pirate.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
If you or a loved one need reliable medical equipment, trust a name Mississippi has depended on for over 20 years. Mobility Medical, located right in Flowood, is your local family-owned source for mobility and home healthcare solutions. From power wheelchairs and scooters to lift chairs that help you relax in comfort, they've got everything you need to stay independent and live better every day. Need help at home? Mobility Medical offers hospital beds, tables, and essential supplies, and more. What sets them apart? It's their personalized service. Their experienced team works one-on-one with you to find the right equipment. Serving all of Mississippi and beyond with in-store support and delivery options available. Mobility Medical, helping you move better, live better, and stay independent. Visit them today in Flowood or call to learn more.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
Welcome back. 37 minutes after the hour, Monday, August 24th. It is 2026. Thank you for joining me. We are DarylArnold.us to make it easy if you want to find all the podcast platforms. That's DARRELL, DarylArnold.us. And then all the podcast platforms, the big ones are listed there. You just click on iHeart Radio and or Podbean, Apple, Spotify, all the big ones, Pandora, Google, etc., Amazon even. Craziness. We were talking about, as usual, craziness. We're talking about the ridiculousness in California because there's always something ridiculous going on on the West Coast. It just is. And I see these pictures of people putting gas in their car for $7.59. Just beyond crazy. Of course it is. Of course it is. Could Mississippi, right here in the good old state of Mississippi, afford socialism? And what would it actually mean to your paychecks out there, your health care, your small businesses, and your taxes? That's a question for you. It is. And there's already an important wrinkle. Mississippi already has a mixed economy. It's like every U.S. state. Public schools, highways, police, and fire departments, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and numerous agricultural and business programs that involve government funding. So the real political question isn't simply socialism or capitalism, is how much of the economy should the government tax, finance, regulate, or directly control? That's the bigger question to me. Because I don't think that Mississippi is just going to go socialist. No. So the bigger question's what I just asked. How much of the economy should the government tax, finance, regulate, or directly control? I don't know, but I do know that's a great question for everyone to be asking when they're thinking about voting for a candidate coming up. There's a lot of elections coming up. A lot. A free market conservative counter argument for that is Mississippi needs, quote, more private investments, entrepreneurship, higher paying jobs, not a larger government, though. Higher taxes, mandates, and regulations could discourage businesses, though, from locating or expanded into a low, relatively income state. But Governor Reeves has done a lot bringing business here. It's just a fact. Whether you like him, don't like him, he has done that to the point to where it's almost unbelievable at this point. But we'll see how all this works out with AI and all, because it is a big subject around the kitchen table, and it should be. It should be. It really should be. Let's see. I heard this the other day, so we're going to get it right here. Can one can of Coca-Cola take 12 minutes off your life every time? One can. And you drink 3 a day for 45 years. How many days have you taken off your life? And how many years have you taken off your life, if this is true? Well, see, that's the way the mainstream media pushed it, the way I just said it. But 3 Cokes a day times 12 minutes is 36 minutes a day, 45 times 44 years times 365 days. It's about 592,000 minutes. Equals about 1.125 years. But if the 12 minutes of Coca-Cola claim they were literally true on the mainstream media that's trying to get you to watch it, if it's literally true, there's an important caveat to this. The 12 minutes off your life per Coke figure is a statistical estimate from population level modeling, not a literal prediction. But see, they don't tell you that. It's not a literal prediction that each Coke subtracts exactly 12 minutes from an individual's lifespan. Give me a break. Not literally. Okay. If that came from real research, no. And some real research from the universities here, research development, a health nutritional index that estimated how particular foods are associated with gains or losses in a health life expectancy. Sugar sweetened beverages were estimated to roughly make 12 minutes of your life loss per serving. But the key distinction here, before y'all run off the road with your Diet Coke or Dr. Pepper, the key distinction is that researchers did not prove that drinking one Coke causes you to die 12 minutes earlier. It's no way. Okay. There's no way. So before y'all always jump to the headlines of the goofiness of USA Today and or Yahoo or one of these foolish TikTok people or anybody for that matter, do a little bit of research, y'all. You know as well as I know that nobody can tell you that a can of Coke or a can of Dr. Pepper or Diet Coke or Sprite or whatever the hell you drink is going to take 12 minutes off of your life every single time. That's ridiculous. That's media propaganda. So you take that exact scenario and you add it to the progressive left drama every day and propaganda every day on the air, you get the same answer. It's all BS. Propaganda. That's what it is. Okay? Candace Owens, perfect example of making money off of you foolish people who want to watch Knots Landing 2026 soap opera crap about Charlie Kirk, who she claimed was her friend, and Erica Kirk, who she claimed was her friend. But you still want to sit there and listen to the outrageous things she says about those people. Okay? Just ridiculous to me. But Again, I don't say her name and I don't make a big deal out of her because I don't want her making another dime. I don't want her making another dime. So this is a true story here too, man. I've got to talk about this morning because it fits exactly what we were just talking about. Save this one for a clip because it's so crazy, but yet exactly what's going on in our country. A 21-year-old, that's right, 21-year-old Raheel Prakash is the person who published a number of fake polls. Now, just did this joking around to see what would happen. 21 years old. And those fake polls entered the media ecosystem. And he said, I wanted to see if the fake polls could really penetrate the system that easily. And they did. They did, y'all. Crazy. He said that he was inspired to create his phony polls after Michigan primary polls totally blew the Democrat race between Abdul Muhammad El Sayed, a.k.a. Abdul, and Haley Stevens. El Sayed barely squeaked out a win when the polls showed him up by, double digits the whole way. I wanted to see if fake polls could really penetrate the ecosystem that easily, he told the Guardian that. And it turned out they could. Prakash created a website called Median Strategies and released bogus polls for the, quote, Democrat primary in the Wisconsin's governor race, the Los Angeles mayor race, and 2 statewide Nevada races. Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, touted median polling data after it appeared to put her ahead of the election challenger by more than 10 points. The poll was also cited by the California Post, a widely followed polling aggregator of X. So crazy, isn't it? This is so crazy. A 21-year-old kid did this, y'all. Propaganda. He went on to say, did I expect it to perhaps expedite in the way it did? Most definitely not. I did not expect the California political press to pick it up on their own. I apologize straight out to the campaigns of Karen Bass, Nithya Raman, and Francesca Hong for this. The fake median poll put Francesca Hong up by 20 points. I remember that. 20 points, but she lost. What's so funny about this poll, though, this bogus poll, Marquette, a so-called legitimate pollster, had Hong ahead big time. At least Median admits his polling was bogus. So honestly, the whole field of polling at this point is a joke. It is an absolute joke. We know that. Anybody that's been voting for the last 10 years knows polling has become a massive joke. Polling is all about shaping public opinion, not reflecting on it as it should be. It's about manipulating the public and their opinion, not measuring it. They're trying to manipulate you by thinking, oh, so-and-so's winning. I must vote for them. No, you must Use your own brain and be an adult is what you need to do. But this guy did us a favor, y'all. He further damaged the credibility of polling and of the media. That's exactly what he did. The mainstream media further tarnished, period. That's a wonderful thing as far as I'm concerned. Fake polls, media polls, potato, potato. Good. See ya. Good for him. Sometimes you have a moment, and that moment is great. That moment is great. Those poles that are a carrot on a string dangling in front of the donkey. That's what they are. But it does make sense. Nothing is hardly true anymore anyway. So why would it be surprising that the polls are not right? I mean, why would that be a surprise? The real test would be to publish a legitimate poll and see if anybody believed it. Yeah, they wouldn't, because that's what that person did, basically. I got a text message about that, but they wouldn't, because literally the whole story I just talked about was what that person did. Not surprising, though. Not surprising to me at all that a 21-year-old was able to penetrate the pollsters' world. The pollsters don't appear to be very thorough or intelligent in their recent predictions. That's about the truest statement ever. Thanks for the text, Vic. Appreciate you. Someone says, is that election interference? I mean, legally, no. Anybody can put a poll up about anything they want to. I can put a poll up today about who likes peanut butter and jelly versus who just likes peanut butter. I mean, it's just another thing that we have freedom of doing. But fake polls have been going on for decades, obviously. But now, AI in combination with very smart Gen Zers making it easier and easier to rig the computer systems, and the translation of that would be, we faked the polls to help our side, got caught and had to get the F out of here. Yeah, that's what Mark said. But that it's really gotten bad since Trump, because so many people believed in the polls, back when Barack Hussein Obama and them were running all their scams. They didn't know that they just depended on the polls because they had the media on their side designing the polls like this guy did. Faking it. And it was easier to talk people into something then without Facebook, TikTok, X, Twitter, all that. So, but you see where that got us. Those polls were not right at all. I mean, Hillary Clinton already had her dancing shoes. Hillary Clinton already had the band booked, the party booked, the modern progressive party at the time. And she got her butt kicked. Okay. She did. She got her booty butt kicked. Old Hillary. California banned affordable tires. Okay, a tire. It's the same old machine jacking up costs, wiping out choices, and hammering working people through their, quote, climate posturing. Wake up, Cali. When's this coming around? When's it coming around here? But this is true. I'm not making it up.
Voted to adopt new rules that will phase out the sale of replacement tires that don't meet certain energy efficiency standards. Tire manufacturers and the commission staff are at odds over whether this will add to the cost of living in the state. It will. Both sides acknowledge this will no longer allow the sale of significant portion of the tires currently sold in California.
70% of the tires are going to be banned that are currently sold. That's 70%. Homeless everywhere. The highest taxes in the country. Businesses are leaving every single day. It's a real economic emergency.
But yet they're banning tires. I mean, good God Almighty. Steve Hilton, please. I hope that guy wins because California needs a lot of help quickly. With the quickness. Everyone, I guess, is hauling ass over to Oregon to buy some new tires. No, I'm joking. They do the most weird stuff there. Steve Hilton, if you're going to become next governor, I pray that you will. I hope you will work with Nick, Shirley, Doge, Homeland Security, FBI, ICE to uncover the massive money fraud, illegal aliens, child trafficking, and much more in California. That was a message to Steve Hilton. Yes. Well, if you're listening in California, people are leaving that state. The key word there is affordable tires they're talking about, though. Here's Teresa that was out in California for just a few months. She said, I ordered my tires online in California for $80. The same exact tire here in California, exactly the same to even order because it's the California address is 180. Yeah. What kind of markup is that? What kind of markup is that? Bureaucrats, y'all, bureaucrats buried in everything is what's going on in California. It always has been, but it's so bad now, y'all. So bad. They will try to blame, watch what I'm saying. They will try to blame the price of tires on Trump. Get ready for it because you know it'll happen. Ridiculous. But it is a new week, new goals, new smiles. Y'all have fun this week. Have a great time. Be happy that we're all living, breathing, and still out there, okay? Because it's very important on this Monday, August 24th, 2026. My name is Daryl Arnold. See ya.
Thank you all for tuning in. Hashtag unfiltered, hashtag unapologetic, America First Talk at its best. Where we party the right way. See you next time, or else.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing